Hey everybody, Miss Binns here. I'm going to go through and we're going to do the last method for solving systems of equations. So this one's elimination. So the method for solving systems of equations by adding or subtracting to eliminate variables. So the big thing is just either we're going to start by eliminating or getting rid of the y's or getting rid of the x's. So it's basically what the plan is here. So step one is to make sure all of your, hold on. Make sure all of your equations add up. So that just means like if you're looking right here, the y's are on top of each other, x's are on top of each other, we got our numbers on top of each other, and our equal sign. So that's the biggest piece for this one, okay? Is just make sure they're lined up so we're ready to rock and roll. That is step number one. Step number two is to add or subtract the equations to eliminate the variable with the common coefficient, okay? And this will all make sense once I do an example. And then let's see, step three, solve for the remaining variable. So whatever one you eliminated, you got to solve for it. So if I've eliminated x, got to solve for the y now. Okay, and then once we find that y or the x, we're going to take it and we're going to substitute into the other equation to solve for the other variable. Okay, so this will make more sense, like I said, once I go through and do some examples. So let's jump into it. I'm going to do number 1, 3, 6, 8, and 10 with you. It might take 2 videos, so I'll do a part 1 and a part 2. So just bear with me. All right, so in this case, the first step was to look and make sure these are all lined up. So I kind of already went through, our equal signs are lined up, our y's are lined up, our x's are on top of each other. So we are good to go with that. So then now, with elimination, we're going to kind of just treat these as big addition and subtraction, let's see, problems. Sorry, couldn't think of the word. Okay, so with this, in order to eliminate, so say if we were just doing like a basic equation, so say I had 2x equals 4, and I wanted to get rid of the 2 with the x, you would do the opposite and you would divide by 2 and solve, and then we get x equals 2. That's how we would figure that one out, okay? So you do the opposite. So in this case, we're going to kind of want to do this. We are going to want to do the same thing. All right, so the biggest thing you want to look for is the variables that are very, very similar. So in this case, my y's are very similar. In this case down here in like number 2, my x's are pretty similar. If I keep going, okay, this one, my x's are both 3, so they kind of have the same number with them as well. In this case, my 2's are the same, okay, with the y's. Okay, so that's kind of what you want to look for first with these ones. All right, so once you do that, in order to eliminate them, they have to be the opposite. So I'm going to treat this one as a big subtraction problem. I'm just going to multiply the bottom by a -1. So this will make more sense. Hold on, let me rewrite it. So the top equation is going to stay the same. So I have y equals 3x plus 4. Okay, in order to get the y's to eliminate, they need to be opposites. Okay, so in this case, the top one is a positive y, so the bottom one needs to be negative y. So I'm going to take this negative and I'm going to distribute it. Let's see, I'm going to take this negative and I'm going to distribute it to the y. I'm going to distribute it to the x, and I'm going to distribute it to the 2. So when I distribute it to the y, it's going to become negative y. When I distribute it to the x, it's going to become negative x. When I distribute it to the -2, it's just going to flip it to a positive 2. So essentially, they are just flipping the signs for us, okay? So that now, looking at this, y, let's see, let me highlight it so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So my y is here. Y minus y, those are actually going to cancel now, okay? Which is what we wanted. We wanted to eliminate a variable. So then now that equals 0. And then on the other side, we're just going to go through and we're going to solve it as if it were a big addition problem, okay? So equals, there we go. And then looking at this one, let's see. Okay, so if I have 3 x's and I subtract 1 x, that leaves you with 2x. And then if you do the same thing with the 4 and the 2, just do 4 plus 2, and that will give you 6. Alrighty. So then now you're just down to a 2-step equation. So In order to move the 6, you have to make it a negative. So subtract your 6, subtract your 6. Okay, these cancel or eliminate, okay? And then you're left with 2x equals 0 minus 6 is just going to give you negative 6. All right, and then you're going to do the same thing. So the 2 and the x are being multiplied. We want the x by itself, so I'm going to divide by 2. Divide by 2. X equals 6. Negative 6 divided by 2 is going to give me negative 3. All right, so that's one of your answers now. Now that we found 1, we're going to go back and we're going to plug this 3 that we just found. Let me just be quick. This 3 that we just found, we're going to take that and we're going to plug it into one of our original equations. So, looking at our original equation, I'm just going to take and I'm going to plug it in for, I'm going to plug it in for this top one, just because we hadn't dealt with that one yet. All right, so then I'm just going to rewrite my equation. So, I'll do it in a different color. So I have y equals 3. The x we just found was negative 3. And then plus 4. Okay, so then we're going to go through and we're just going to solve this. First step is going to be to do this multiplication, okay? And when I do that, y equals 3 times negative 3 is going to give you negative 9. And then you have plus 4, just bring that down. All right, and then you just have to do negative 9 plus 4, and that is going to give you negative 5. All right, and then again, remember, you always write your answer as an ordered pair. And in this case, I would write my x first, so it would be negative 3, comma, negative 5. And that would be your final answer. All righty. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do number 3 with you as well. I think that'll probably be what I can get on this video, and then I'll make a new one. All right, so as I went through before, I did highlight it already. So let's see. My 3's, as you can see, are the same. So I have two variables, so the x's have the same number. So that's going to be the easiest one to do. All right, so instead of drawing, rewriting the equation, you can also just, okay, I know in order to cancel these 3's, one of them has to be negative. And in doing so, that's going to change this to a positive, and that's going to change the 15 to a negative as well. Okay, so if you wanted to, you could also rewrite it. So it'd be 3x minus 10y equals 14, and then the bottom would change to 3x plus 9y equals negative 15. So if you want to rewrite it, you're welcome to. If you don't want to, doesn't matter, same idea, okay? So let's go ahead and solve this. So then these ones would eliminate, okay? So your x's would eliminate in this case. And then you need to look at what is negative 9 or negative 10 plus 9. That is going to give us negative 1y equals, and then you have 14 minus 15, which is going to give you negative 1 as well. And then this is just a one-step equation, so you just got to solve it. So I'm going to divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. Y is going to equal these double negatives turn to positives, just going to be 1. Alrighty, so then now we want to go back and we want to plug what we just found. So we want to take this 1 and we want to plug it in for y in one of the equations. I'm just going to pick this bottom one just because they're smaller numbers. If you want to put them on the top, go for it, since it's with a smaller number. Alrighty. So when I go ahead and do this, I'm going to rewrite it over here. So I have 3x minus 9, and then I'm going to take that 1 that we found down here, and I'm going to plug it in, and then equals 15. And then I'm just going to go ahead and solve this one. My first step to solve this is going to be to do this multiplication right here. All right, so the 3x stays the same. Negative 9 times 1 is just going to be negative 9, and then I'm left with 15. Okay, so that part stays the same. And then we're going to go through and we're going to do We're going to move our friends and move our family because we're down to a two-step equation. So I'm going to move this 9 first. So the opposite of a negative 9 is a positive 9. Alrighty. These ones cancel here. And we're left with 3x equals, and then if we do 15 plus 9, that'll leave us with 24. Let me just scroll this and try to get this a little bit better here. 24, perfect. And then now we need to divide. So we're going to divide, let's see. Okay, so let me pen here. Okay, so I have to get rid of this 3, so I'm going to divide by 3. Divide both sides by 3. These ones cancel. You're left with your x equals, and 24 divided by 3 gives you 8. Alrighty, and then again, you need to write your answer as an ordered pair. So in this case, you're going to write your x first, which is 8, and then the y, which is 1, and then that would be your final answer. Alrighty, I'm going to end this one here, and then we'll pick up on 6, 8, and 10 in the part 2 video. All right.